Gerges and Qutb's lives and on their troubled times. The rift between the nationalists and the Islamists created a significant political fault line in Egyptian political life, and remains a part of political life throughout the Arab world and the Middle East. However, far from being a binary and inevitable division, as it is too often depicted by both participants and analysts, the struggle between nationalists and Islamists is far more complex. The focal point of the struggle is the state, its power, and its position as custodian of the public sphere, not ideology. One of the key goals of this book is to reconstruct the history of this deadly encounter between nationalists and Islamists and to shed further light on its effects on state and society in Egypt and neighboring Arab countries. These two movements formed a duality defining socio-political life, and the study argues that their interaction, both as a fierce rivalry and as a symbiotic cooperation, was so profound that neither can be properly understood if viewed as a separate historical agent. There is a large library of books dealing with Nasser and Egyptian and Arab nationalism, and another large library of books on Qutb, the Muslim Brotherhood, and Islamist movements in general. A remarkable aspect of this scholarship is the degree to which these two libraries present separate pictures and are not integrated across time and space. Studies of Nasserism and nationalism mention Qutb and the Muslim Brotherhood, but such observations tend to be marginal to the main lines of analysis. In a similar vein, books on Qutb and political Islam pay remarkably little attention to the evolution and continuing popular support for populist nationalism as articulated by Nasser. While studies of Islamism note populist opposition to elitist secularism, there tends to be little recognition that the nationalist movement in Egypt did not involve a rejection of Islam, even in some of its more traditional forms. In contrast, this analysis presents a distinctive synthesis of the two existing libraries and concentrates on the dynamic interaction between nationalism and Islamism from the late 19th century till the present, though focusing specifically on the period since the early 1950s. I have worked on this book intermittently since 2006, spending 2 years on field research in various Arab countries, which enabled me to conduct scores of in-depth interviews with leading activists, public intellectuals, politicians, and civil society leaders. Utilizing historical sociology and a historical thematic approach, the book takes human agency seriously by focusing on collective action, hidden internal struggles, clashes of personalities, and pivotal watershed moments. It is rich with ethnographic details, including personal testimonies of old men who have since died and middle-aged ideologues who have been at the forefront of the confrontation. On a personal note, I have been engaged in these debates for many years, and the book is an attempt to make sense of the prolonged divide that has hindered political transition and evolution in the region. For example, the durability of this clash was shown in 2013 when the Egyptian military overthrew the elected government of President-Mohamed Morsi of the Ikhwan. Many observers were surprised by the depth of popular support for Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's clampdown in 2013 against a democratically elected government led by the Ikhwan so soon after the massive Tahrir demonstrations that had overthrown the military regime of Hosni Mubarak. The book provides an analytical and empirical framework for understanding the current turmoil in Egypt and neighboring Arab countries, as a continuation of the long-standing interaction between nationalism and activist Islamism, and also a framework for making sense of the complexities of the groups involved. Framed as a dialogue in Arab politics, the book is based mainly on ethnography, exhaustive primary sources, and one-on-one interviews with and personal testimonies of those who have been at the forefront of a fierce and prolonged power struggle between their two respective Arab nationalist and Islamist camps. In important ways, this book represents a valuable resource as a document in